Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2. Turn that on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. Now you can.
Tradition of Today I'm here at Keats and I'm going to show you what we do around here and what the facility looks like. On the production floor, we make our parts for the metal stamping from automotive to healthcare industry, and that's where everything's made.
There's a lot of family that are employed here. My father was employed here, my brother's employed here. There's cousins, there's brothers. With that said, there's also a lot of employees that have been here 40, 50 years. And they're the older generation, and Keats Manufacturing understands that, well, these guys are going to retire. So they are heavily involved in the apprenticeship program with District 214. And there are high quality, high paying jobs in manufacturing.
This special type of steel, it's heat treated. Heat treated stuff is harder to cut into, so that's why we're using the EDM machine. I am currently working in the EDM department and I am working on EDM drilling, also Shadow, the CNC guys, and the other people working on the other EDM machines. This apprenticeship has helped me from just confidence boosting, help get experience with job experience and life experience, help learn from older people and people that have been here for a while, from like 20 years to generations. It is a family-owned place.
We're excited to have Joe here, and it's been a pleasure working with him. And I hope, even if he goes to college, that he understands that our door is open. If he wants to come back here, maybe, and decides that manufacturing is something for him, he's welcome back.
With this experience, just getting it under my belt, Miss Gannon helped me very much with just writing a letter with me. Now I'm going to be able to go to the University of Kansas, and I want to pursue a career in business, like the business side of the manufacturing department. By just doing an internship or an apprenticeship, it will just help with you figuring out what you want to do in your future. Like, this is an opportunity that you can put on like a resume. If even like trying to get into college, it can help you open up doors that you never thought you could open.
What year is it? What is that machine? We're gonna do this thing. We're making it happen. A lot of music. Hey, today we're here at the Mix. We had the opportunity to be part of the Holiday Spectacular with the Morning Mix team down here in the downtown studios, and we brought the Prospect Magical Singers down to add a little holiday joy.
You can nose around. If you see something you want, just take it. That's fine.
We arrived here at the Mix on 27th floor, overlooking Millennium Park. Beautiful view of the lakefront. Kids are hanging out in kind of the lobby.
Our stocks are going down. What is going on? Our stocks are going down.
And they're really getting prepared, warming up their voices, and getting ready for some pretty special moments on air.
We three kings of Orient are.
This was probably one of the coolest experiences I know in my career. To come in and do a radio show, this is unheard of. So, and I know the kids were just like out of their minds, excited about it.
That's right. The Morning Mix Holiday Spectacular rolls on. I got to tell you guys, a little bit of nerves right now because my high school theater director is just staring at me.
Which one is that?
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, the young handsome one.
We've had many performances to get up to this moment, and today we just really focused on trying to make sure we had tall vowels because no one can see us and see our excitement. So we needed our energy to kind of go through the sound waves of radio.
It's the Prospect High School Madrigal Choir now live on the Mix.
Kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star.
I think one of the special moments is just our songs that we love, like Mary Did You Know by the Pentatonics. To be able to sing something that's popular, that's on the radio now in the exact arrangement that we hear a famous group like the Pentatonics sing.
A sight to a blind man, Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know?
So I personally never thought I would be able to get on the radio, especially 101.9, which I listen to every morning on the drive to school. So this
was really amazing. Not something I can say I ever thought I was going to do, but definitely something I'm very happy I got to do. And I personally just felt thrilled to be on the show this morning.
Mary, did you know?
The Morning Mix Holiday Spectacular with the Prospect High School Madrigal Choir. That was awesome.
That is a jam.
My man beatboxing, what's your name?
Alex.
Alex?
Yeah.
Alex on the beatbox.
So at one point in the broadcast, Lauren had the opportunity to sing a solo on air, did a Taylor Swift mashup that she put together, and I'm sitting back watching this. What a special moment for a high school senior to be live on Chicago airwaves singing a Taylor Swift song.
This is Lauren from the Prospect High School Madrigal Choir.
Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting. All that's left to do is run. You'll be the prince and I'll be the princess.
So when I was singing the Taylor Swift song, I was really nervous at first because it was nerve-wracking, like knowing that I was going to be heard by a couple people on the radio. So, but once I got started, it was more fun and I could like get into it. So like performing music is my whole life. So.
I've had too much to drink tonight, but I know it's sad, but this is what I think about. I wake up in the middle of the night.
I wanted to perform a Taylor Swift song because like she's been one of my biggest idols ever since I was a little girl, so it's kind of, especially with songwriting, like she's kind of the one who really influenced a lot of my songwriting like journey. So yeah, it was really cool to get to have that like roundabout experience.
They want me when I'm nothing new.
Thank you for this experience. Thank you to Prospect for giving me the experience to sing on my own. Overall experience, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 rating. It was really cool to like come here and to look around here and get to experience another side of like music industry, and yeah, it was really cool.
This morning we are an hour 15 minutes from O'Hare to downtown.
Another amazing thing was they made us really feel like we were a part of the show for the morning. So like when Violetta would go through traffic, if there was something good, we'd all shout, huzzah!
They are only 25 minutes from Montrose to Ohio Street. Huzzah!
And if there was something bad, we'd all go boo or womp womp, which really made us feel like we were part of the show, which I just added to the level of fun that everybody had today at this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
What's it?
It's a great way to wrap up the holiday season, and with this group, most of these kids started the year during COVID, so our first rehearsals were on Zoom, and now to imagine that we are here after all those years and
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Can I have, sorry, I missed the minutes. Board members, do I need to take these separately, or can I take them together, January 23rd and January 25th? Separately, please. Separately? Okay. Can I approve the minutes for our January, open and close for January 23rd?
So moved.
Second. There's been a motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Rauch?
Aye.
Walker?
Aye.
And Kreutzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the open and closed minutes for the board meeting of January 25th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Rauch?
Abstain?
Walker?
Yes.
Kreutzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 401.
Thank you. Now, number 4 on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Walker?
Yes.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Rauch?
Aye.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. So tonight we have a recognition of our community partner, Consulting Engineering Group.
Thank you.
Mr. Maggie.
Tonight, we do recognize Consulting Engineers Group for their support of our engineering internship program. Unfortunately, they were not able to join us tonight. Based in Mount Prospect, Consulting Engineers Group Vice President Michelle Cherapata and her colleagues have been instrumental in providing internship opportunities to our students with a focus on promoting women in engineering, offering authentic experiences in structural engineering. We appreciate their commitment to fostering student development and enhancing our work-based learning initiatives.
Okay, can they come at a later date, perhaps?
I think we may find a time to visit them to deliver that.
That would be good. Okay, great, thank you. Item 6 is public comments, and no one has signed up. Thank you. Item 7 on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Rowe.
All right, I have a very brief report this evening that just consists of our spotlight video. I've been so impressed with the opportunities that our students have to engage in to create a sense of belonging around the district. And recently, I had the opportunity to attend our Asian Students Association summit that they held actually in this room. Not only was it an empowering event, but it was just a wonderful event to see our kids come together from all across the district to create a sense of community around their cultural heritage. So with that, I want to share a video of a recent celebration hosted at Elk Grove where this group sponsored a Lunar New Year celebration. So sit back and enjoy.
Tonight at Elk Grove High School, we're celebrating Lunar New Year. We brought together all of the different ASA groups from across the district. We're sharing our Asian cultures with crafts, games, music, our different foods, and we're going to do some performances like singing, cultural performances, dances in our theater tonight. I think it's a great way to kind of get involved in your school, and it's a great way to get involved in your culture because it can be hard since, we are a minority just at our schools and in the district, so it's nice to all get together so we can do something that celebrates all of our shared culture.
I kind of feel like a lot of people only consider like a small part of Asia, and they don't see like that Asia is such a diverse community because it's such a big place, and I feel like they learn more about different cultures and not just the ones that are portrayed in the media.
When we say Asian, we're such a broad spectrum, and so honestly, even just being together, running a club together, we're realizing there's so many similarities even within our Asian countries. That's what this is about.
I really hope that everybody just has a good time and that they see how these cultures really share a lot of commonalities and the kind of enjoyment that I think every different culture has, and so that they see themselves in the things that we're doing. And we're just really excited that the district really supports these endeavors and that they're happy that our students want to share bits of themselves with one another and that it's so well received from our district administrators.
I was there. That was nice. That was a high energy.
That's all I
that
have
night.
this evening.
Do you have a report for us on a certain NFL team?
I can update you a little bit on the Bears. I don't say that with any hesitancy at all. We've had a series of very productive conversations with the Bears in recent weeks surrounding the 23 tax settlement, and the district really focused our efforts on finding our path through to what the Bears have been asking for all along. They've been asking for tax certainty. They've been asking for a $5 million settlement as their annual payment so that they can predict what that cost will be, so they can invest their costs or those dollars in the infrastructure that they need to begin. And so we created that, actually, and we offered a handful of settlement offers to the Bears that achieved that very thing. But at the end of the day, the Bears declined those offers and elected to go through with to the Property Tax Review Board, which we were totally fine with. We felt good about our position. We felt very good about what we offered and attempted to do. I can tell you that the meetings that we had, the superintendents had with Mr. Warren and Karen Murphy, the CFO, were very productive. They were very friendly. We see our potential future together and how the relationship can work. But unfortunately, we weren't able to achieve the settlement that we thought we could. And going through the Property Tax Appeal Board, that process was interesting. We await their decision. I can tell you that we are very, very comfortable with everything that we've done to try and find that common ground and achieve that settlement offer. We have been engaged throughout the entire process. I would say not to believe anything that you read in the media about what the truth is, because it's portraying a portion of reality that is not exactly true. It's fitting a narrative. Kind of from my seat, I see a handful of big topics that are the central issues. The one that is really just doesn't sit well with us is that the school districts are greedy and we're after money. And I think everyone has to understand we're not going to see a windfall of money from this project for 25 to 40 years. We won't. All we've asked from the beginning is to be made whole if this produces students. And the only images we've seen from the Bears are images of the proposed dome and then this entertainment district with a lot of houses. And all we can do is assume that those houses would produce children into our school districts. So all we've asked from the beginning is that we be made whole if students come to us. The village is mentioned in prior communication about an MOU we've been working on, and that's outlined there, and that hasn't been a difficult goal to achieve. The tax settlement is a big issue, and the tax settlement is a big issue for the Bears because they want that tax certainty. They want they say $5 million, even though we achieved that $5 million in our agreement, but they elected to go to the Property Tax Review Board anyway. And then finally, the why the assessment matters, and this is the important point that I think a lot of people are missing. The assessment matters because if the Bears get a sweet tax deal, and we're not opposed to that tax deal. We need to understand what the implications of that are. If they get, let's say, at what their assessment appraised value is at $70 million, but the appraiser still values the land at what the Bears paid for it, which he has said he is going to do. That's $197 million. So the Bears get a deal and pay that for however long, and then the assessor moves the cost of the price of the value of the land back up. That's what the community has to pay in our tax bill, but the Bears still pay this. So every taxpayer in the community will cover the difference for 25 to 40 years. And I don't say that to scare people, I say that that's why we have not been so willing to move all the way to where the media has suggested that we go. And it's not because we want the money. We're not going to get the money. It's because our taxpayers in our communities are going to foot the difference. And that's not making the news. That's not what's in the media, but that's the truth. And as I said, at the end of the day, we have to remember Ted Phillips bought the land in Arlington Park. Kevin Warren came on in February, 6 months after that land was purchased. And it's been very open that he prefers to be in Chicago because he loves the city. So at the end of the day, it may just be the new president of the Bears wants Chicago because that's where his heart is, and that's okay. We want them in Arlington Heights. We feel very confident and good about all we've done to help get them there. So we will continue to converse with the village and the Bears and find a way to make it happen. But they may just choose Chicago because when you're competing with a world-class city like Chicago, it's hard to compete with the lakefront. But I will say, Chicago cannot give the Bears what 326 acres can in Arlington Heights. That is the largest property in all of Cook County.
We heard that.
And when that's developed, it will be the most expensive property in all of Cook County, including Chicago. Currently, that's the Willis Tower at just over $1 billion, and that will be 5 to 6 times that. So the magnitude of this unique opportunity is big. So I don't think we should be overly anxious that Mr. Warren is investigating Chicago because he has to do his due diligence as a businessman, but we have done everything we can to bridge the gap that they've asked us to, but we have to negotiate with hard numbers that we can defend to our community and you can defend as elected officials, and there are 3 school boards that must be a part of those conversations and all, at the end of the day, support the decision. And there's complications there. But we feel very good about what how we've engaged in the process, and we've not only done our part to be good partners with the village to make this happen, but also stood up for our taxpayers on a topic that's not being discussed.
So you want to review the dates that we're waiting for with the Board of Review and then the appeal?
Yeah, we hear that it's maybe 2 to 3 weeks. We don't have hard dates. So we're kind of targeting the week of the 19th as a possibility. We don't know. It's up to them.
But then there's a 10-day period after they...
There is something called the re-review.
Right.
That would allow, I think everyone would prefer a settlement. It makes it much easier for the Property Tax Review Board. It depends on where they come in with their number. If their number is in favor of us, then, or our appraisal, I'm sure the Bears will want to negotiate. If it comes in favor of the Bears, I'm sure they won't want to negotiate. So what's important to note that I didn't mention is when we received that, when we had our appraisal done, the $160 million appraisal, we didn't tell Maroos what to do with the appraisal. We didn't tell them how they should value the land. We engaged with a well-respected firm in our area, and we actually thought $160 million sounded a whole lot better than $197 million to the Bears. We thought it was a celebration and ran to them and say, here you go. And so when the newspapers are reporting we're $100 million apart, that couldn't be further from the truth. We're not $100 million apart at all. Our appraisals were $100 million apart because, for whatever reason, we educate kids, we don't do tax appraisals. We accepted theirs, and the Bears presented theirs, and then we had hard data that we could negotiate against of their numbers and our numbers to try and find a common path, and we just weren't able to do that. So I wouldn't look too much into how far apart the appraisals are, because we were very, very close when we were in the room, but we can still get there.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Board member updates. Mr. Fiorito?
Okay, I've got quite a few. Let's just start with state competition. So we want to wish the girls bowling team and the boys and girls wrestlers who will be at sectionals this weekend, good luck. Next week starts the girls basketball competition. We wish them all good luck. And then this weekend as well is the girls gymnastics and the chess team state championships. And I know we have girls and teams in both of those as well. And we wish all the athletes good luck. The Education Foundation Scholarship application window is open through March 15th. I was able to see the tool itself. It is very easy to use, so if you have seniors, or prepare yourself if you have juniors, look into the tool. It really does it's a great way to match up your young adult with possible scholarship opportunities if they are looking forward to going on to college. I want to personally congratulate Wally Brownlee. I've known his wife for many years because she coaches the water polo team that my daughters played on. He was the summer coach of the year for the baseball team at Hersey High School. Last but not least, on Tuesday, there is a symphonic band festival at Buffalo Grove High School, and it also includes the Hersey and Wheeling students as well. Andrea, is your son involved in that?
Yes, I will be attending.
I will too. I look forward to seeing them. And last but not least, I want to congratulate the 1976 cross-country girls from Wheeling High School. They were honored last Friday. They were inducted to the Wheeling High School Hall of Fame. And this group of ladies was trailblazers because back then in 1976, there was no such thing as a state girls cross-country championship. But they won the tournament that was later designated as the state championship. And so for that, they were recognized by Wheeling High School for their cross-country state championship. And the ladies showed up in full force, and they were inducted, as they should be, in the Wheeling High School Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Wildcats. But that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
I have a few as well. We'll start off with NSSCO. I think the biggest highlight in NSSCO is the finance leadership, is taking back and engaging with the members of the CSBOs to develop a framework for long-term capital funding. This was a little gap in the process before. In addition, there's been discussion that the Building and Grounds Director should be included for the Facility Planning Committee as well to provide further support as the Operations Director. There's a couple of program updates. Timber Ridge and Minor are going through some needs and updates, looking at more one-on-one aid discussions with district admins rep. And overall, the projected enrollment continues to increase and moving forward after pre-COVID numbers. I'll give you some dates for exciting things coming up. Wednesday, March 7th is the second review of the Finance Committee. And then Wednesday the 21st will be the review drafted or proposed NSSCO fiscal year 25 budget. And then we'll see it in this district somewhere around April 3rd, and then we'll vote to adopt or deny on June of 24. Let's see. Going back through happenings in our district, summer internships, current sophomores and juniors interested in participating in an internship during the summer of 24 can apply now through February 28th. And the ever-popular District 214 Community Ed offers a wide range of lifelong learning opportunities, including travel, from international trips to local day tours. There's something for everyone. Limited spots are still open for the upcoming 24 tours. An example would include the Oceans Rat Pack show at the Alley at Carnival on March 20, and Aida at the Lyric Opera on April 4th. Frank might be going to that, I think. And Mamma Mia at the Niederlander Theater on May 15th. So a lot of good stuff happening there. That concludes my updates.
Thank you. Mr. Heineman?
I attended the Arlington Heights prayer breakfast last Thursday morning, and it was very good, like I've gotten used to, presentation and breakfast.
Yeah, Brian McBride was the keynote.
Yes.
Yeah. And he lives in Arlington Heights now. Yeah, thank you.
And a Buffalo Grove graduate.
Yes, on the, what was it, 1988 state winning soccer team, I believe it was.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, I think he was a junior. He played for the World Cup for the
USD.
Not USA, the Ireland.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. Anyway, okay, thank you. Ms. Rauch.
Thank you. Well, first of all, let me say thank you to Dr. Hubbard and the Wildcats for the opportunity to visit Wheeling High School. I appreciate the staff welcoming me into their classrooms. I had the opportunity to visit a health career pathway as well as the law pathway. I also learned about the REACH and some of more of the AVID programs, so thank you. You know, Mr. Ferrito had mentioned the recognition of the women's cross-country team. And I also want to say thank you to the Activities and Operations Department. You know, it's not trivial to actually contact an individual in order to recognize them, but they had to contact a whole team and find those people throughout over a couple years and locate them and make connections. So thank you for doing that and setting that example for our students who have come before them, who have had accomplishments so that our current students can see what was before them and give them opportunity to grow and see potential for them. Another thank you, the NJROTC Chicagoland Drill Competition took place last weekend at Wheeling also. And a thank you to the Recruit Training Command staff. Those members were about 20 or so who had volunteered their time on that Saturday so that. And what that is the NJROTC, they have a couple different schools, units come and they compete in different areas, and they are judged by these recruiting staff. So it's an excellent competition if anyone ever has the chance to go. So the Wheeling NJROTC will be competing in a national competition next week, so good luck to them. Other things that have already been mentioned, the internships, I definitely encourage students to apply for those. Great opportunities, real-world applications. We have unbelievable partners who are more than happy to work with you, to train. And as I told my own son, even if it's not what you identify as your career pathway, gives you the opportunity to say, no, that isn't it, and find the one that is for you. So take advantage of that. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple things. I attended the Elk Grove production of Clue, which was really nice. The director had two parts for each, two people for each part, so we had different actors on different nights, and thought that was very interesting. The Lunar New Year, what an excitement down there. So happy to see that. The cheer sectional was great. I attended the Prospect Hersey game. What a game. Where is he? The last 5 seconds, the two basket by Prospect, I thought I was going to go crazy. It was just a wild game. But, yeah. So Scott and I and a couple others attended the Ed Red dinner and town hall with 4 area legislators, and there were quite a few questions from all of us school people, but have to keep on top of that. But thanks, board members. I know we're all pretty busy with what's going on, and appreciate the time. Okay, so...
Just a quick add of one thing, a couple things I failed, just little celebrations that like to embarrass people at board meetings from time to time. I got a few birthdays coming up. So Dr. McFall's birthday tomorrow. Mr. Walker over here's birthday is also tomorrow. And then Millie Palmer, who's unable to be here tonight, hers is coming up on Sunday. So celebrate some of the great people that work and support in District 214. Happy birthday to you all.
And no, I won't be singing. You do not want to hear me sing. You do not.
Nobody's asking. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. So we have roll call action. We have to take these individually? Yes. Okay, so we have Freedom of Information Act. Can I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Walker and Rauch. Walker?
Yes.
Rauch.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. So we have 912, approval of disposal of closed session audio recordings. Motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Rauch.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
So now we come up to business services. We have the preliminary budget guidelines and assumptions. Mr. Keeley?
Certainly, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. As you know, this is one of the first steps in creating our fiscal year 25 budget, which kicks off in earnest on July 1st, but all the planning continues. We'll be back in next month with a more comprehensive view of these assumptions, along with some budget projections as well, with the goal of bringing the tentative budget to the board in June. I do want to recognize I'm the mouthpiece of this, but there are a lot of people involved in this, both here in this room and back at the district office and in all the buildings. So I just want to acknowledge all the work that has been done and will continue to be done by our budget managers. after the third quarter ends on March 31st, we'll really start working with them to tighten up what their needs are for next year and look at how we perform this year. At a very high level, our revenue, obviously our largest source of revenue, as Dr. O was talking about the property assessments, et cetera, it comes from our tax levy. The consumer price index was 3.4% for 12 months at the end of December, which will set the 24 levy. Beyond that, our corporate personal property tax from the state, we believe to be flat into next year. And as we discussed at past board meetings, we are returning student fees. As far as our expenditures, we do have a new staffing formula that's been developed collaboratively. Again, that's kind of the key word here. And Ms. Kraft has been instrumental at that. So we are tweaking that and continuing to make sure that we meet the needs at all of our schools for all of our students. Our insurance benefits are expected to go up, and we continue to monitor those. In fact, we have an insurance committee meeting on Monday where we'll discuss that more. As Mr. Walker talked about, NSSEO for our special ed costs, we're monitoring that and expecting final numbers from them in the coming months, which we'll incorporate into the budget. As far as the capital projects, Mr. Yulee and his team are working on executing the contracts that were just approved by the board recently for this summer's work at Elk Grove and Buffalo Grove for the main projects, and then some HVAC projects across the district. And shortly thereafter, working on getting that 10-year project, 10-year plan to the board next fall. We're working alongside them to ensure that we're planning the finances accordingly. Dr. Budzinski in technology is working on a life cycle analysis of all of our equipment to ensure that we have a 5-year replacement plan and the budget to go along with it. Later this evening, we'll talk about a capital assessment that's going to help inform that as well. And then last but certainly not least, we can't teach kids if we can't get them to school. So with transportation, we are looking at that. Transportation costs, fuel costs, et cetera, continue to rise. So we are working to identify a partner to perform a comprehensive assessment of our transportation. We talked earlier this evening about the Pathways program that does involve transporting students in and out of the district a lot, and we're looking for efficiencies and routing means to try and be a little more efficient there so we can offer it to more students. And that's all I have at this point. I'd be happy to answer any questions board members have.
Okay, I was remiss here. Can I have a motion and a second, please? And then we can have discussion.
There's no motion to...
No action? No action? Okay.
There's no action
Board
on this
members.
item.
That's okay. Board members, discussion? Anyone?
I just want to thank Tim for providing myself and the rest of the board members with the time to go through the financials and just give us some personal explanations of all this stuff. And I thought it was well prepared. And I think you guys have a good path on what you can do to hopefully put us in the right direction financially. Thank you, Tim.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, moving on. So this one is approval of amended list of authorized depositories. So we're approving, well, can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Keeley?
Certainly. So District 214 acts as the custodian and administrator of the Wheeling Township Treasury for many of our feeder districts. And Mr. Palmer, our comptroller, heads that group. And we're approached by PMA with some additional strategies for our long-term investing. And in order to achieve this, we do have to update our list of banks and depositories to add UMB Bank out of Kansas City, Missouri. They are allowed per school code in the Public Investment Act and have been vetted by PMA. Therefore, I do respectfully recommend the board approve the amended list of depositories as presented.
Board members, discussion, please?
Mr. Keeley, does this have to be approved by all districts then that are involved in this, or?
Yes, indeed. So this should be approved by the beginning of March by all member districts, and then we can proceed with that plan.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, call the roll.
Walker?
Yes.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Rauch?
Aye.
And Kreutzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Keeley, I'm sorry, I should have brought this up under 921 about budget assumptions with NSSEO. You know, in the past, they've had historically really not had a finance committee to look at all, like what we do, like 5-year plans. And I'm really glad when Mr. Walker told us about, he's on the finance committee looking at the operations over there, because those buildings are old. And it took them years to build the gymnasium at Timber Ridge, where they saved up the money. I haven't been in their offices in a while, or their schools, but it seems to me that hopefully they'll maybe follow the lead on what we do, how we go about construction. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, I would hope so. It was a few weeks after Mr. Yulee and Archon presented our needs assessment that something very similar, but a bite-sized version, showed up at NSSEO, and it was very comprehensive. But what was immediately obvious to me, and Mr. Walker and I spoke about, is that there wasn't really a plan baked into the finances to fund any of the needs. The tuition was not structured as such. There was no assessment for that. And they do have some significant mechanical needs in the HVAC area. And of course, when you're dealing with some of the most fragile students, you want to make sure you address that. So we're very fortunate that they're able to keep it going for another year and not rush into it. They were considering moving forward this summer, but just didn't have time. So the CSBOs of the feeder districts are working with them. I know that Annetta Mistak from our operations department and her counterpart from 211 were over there with their operations director. So there seems to be a lot more collaboration going on, and it's not going to be free to do, but if we take the time to plan it and fund it, it should be a sustainable plan into the future.
Yeah, I would add also, sorry,
Go ahead.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No.
Okay.
No, I was looking at Mr. Fiorito because he was president of NSSEO for a while, so you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So one other thing the board did was put together a facilities committee to go and inspect the schools and look at long-range plans, because the way they were clawing back money for that gym, it's not sustainable and everything.
Right. Right.
I'm glad they got the gym, but we can't take care of minor, and, you know, there's a lot involved. So I'm glad that Mr. Keeling is involved, because it's a lot of nitty-gritty stuff, and I think, you know, with the transition from Julie to Gavin, I think there'll be a different sense of things than what we had before, so very optimistic.
The one thing at Timber Ridge was, it was a 2-story school for special needs students, and it didn't have an elevator.
Right.
Yeah.
That was like crazy to me. And they added the gym to that too. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure the dollar amount's going to be up there, because it's been many years since they've done anything. Okay, thanks, and appreciate you being on that committee, Mr. Walker. Okay, so we have approval of accounts payable, 923, motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Bauk? Aye. Heineman?
Aye.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
And Kreutzer?
Aye.
Carries 5-0.
Thank you. 924, approval of monthly financial reports for December 2023. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Discussion? Call the roll.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Bauk? Aye. Walker?
Yes.
And Kreutzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. 925, approval of information technology assessment. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Keeley, please.
Thank you. So Dr. Budzinski has been working with consulting firms to identify an appropriate partner to give us a wall-to-wall assessment of our all things IT. Just for the sake of scope. The IT department, aside from salaries and benefits, is somewhere between $7 and $9 million every year, depending on the equipment we're working on. So it certainly is best practice to take a look at that to inform decisions. And as I mentioned in the budget portion, part of the work that they're going to do is also to build a very comprehensive life cycle replacement plan so that nothing is overlooked. The assessment's going to focus on infrastructure, operations, staffing, and sustainability. It's probably going to take anywhere between 12 and 16 weeks, and the firm that has been chosen is Client First. The lead on the project is a former CTO in the suburban school districts here in Illinois, and brings a lot of experience. The other gentleman that I see on the project team was a C-suite IT person for McGladrey. It's a firm that does a lot of public accounting, and many school districts use them as well. So it's going to give us peace of mind. I've done this in a former district, and we were very pleased with what came back in terms of our cybersecurity, things of that nature. We're confident that they're going to find more good than challenges. But again, a second set of eyes is always again, best practice. So without further ado, I do recommend the board approve the contract with Client First for the IT assessment, the amount of $39,555.
I just want to add that, and thank you for mentioning the cybersecurity. That was the one with what's going on with Lurie Hospital right now. It's kind of important that everybody's got their technology controlled.
Any other discussion?
Sure. Oh.
Go.
Are we doing this because we don't have time, we don't have staff, or we don't have the experience, or exactly why are we doing this?
So there has been some turnover of staff in that department. There's obviously new leadership with Dr. Budzinski. And so in an effort to make mindful decisions and understand what our needs are, rather than try and go it alone and rush and fill positions, again, we're taking a little bit more of a methodical approach to try and understand what the needs are. At my last district, pardon me, we had a staff of 3 and a $4 million technology budget, and it was really helpful for us to understand kind of where our blind spots were. We have a very robust and talented tech staff here. We want to make sure that our systems and our procedures are staying with the times.
Okay. And also, Tom Jacobson, I guess, was listed. His resume was included, and it also listed that he had done work for District 214. Do we know what he had done in the past?
Yes, so Client First is our current E-rate consultant of record, and so typically a school district will have an E-rate consultant that manages all of the compliance with that federal program, and Client First has been providing that for several years.
Thank you very much.
I would just add to your question, Mr. Hyman, that it's a little bit of a combination of time and expertise, because our technology team, as Mr. Keeley said, very talented, but they're focused also on day-to-day operations, and managing the devices, keeping things moving forward. So what this group comes in with kind of a rubric of what to look for that has been established and vetted and been proven successful versus how long it would take to do the job and root out the areas of needed improvement against a rubric of that nature. We'll get action steps much quicker rate, and it's money well spent just to help us put a plan in place so we can turn it over the summer and get moving.
It seems pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Mr. Keeley, I have a few questions. First of all, how many companies were evaluated to do this type of assessment?
I'm phoning a friend, Dr. Budzinski.
Absolutely. I would do
the conversation.
So interestingly, when we start having these conversations, we reach out to the normal partners that we work with on a lot of other things. To say that I've talked to, I think, five different. Okay. Many of them are also partners that we purchase equipment from.
Okay.
This particular company doesn't sell equipment. So it brings us a truly unbiased approach to this work, so that we don't have to worry about a company coming in saying, we think you should make these changes, and oh, by the way, we can help you do that, and we can sell you all the stuff you would ever need to do that. Client first stands out in that that's not their approach.
Okay, I appreciate that, because my second question was going to be what set this company apart from the rest. And you mentioned the hardware, so I assume that through this evaluation, they'll look at the hardware, the software, and the staffing needs throughout the entire district.
Correct, yeah, it's what we would refer to as the infrastructure would be the network, both wired network, fiber network, wireless networks. Also included in that would be server infrastructure, both the physical servers that we have, cloud-based servers that we have, how all of those systems work together, just to make sure that we're being as efficient as we can with that technology, that we don't have things that we don't need. We kind of root out maybe some of the antiquated stuff or the antiquated technologies, just to make sure that our proverbial ducks are in a row.
Okay, great, thank you.
You might not know this, but when's the last time that we did this?
I've heard that this, I believe, has happened twice in the past, and I believe one of them was many years ago, and I think the other one was...
What'd you say?
I think one of them was many years ago, like 10 to 15.
At least.
Yeah. I thought I had heard there was one more recently, but I haven't seen the output of that, so...
I don't remember that.
I'm not
But I remember
aware.
the one from years ago.
Yeah, so that's the one that I've seen bits and pieces of, and all the more reason, I think, to look at doing this again.
So in your experience, how often should a school district do this?
So interestingly, I was in a meeting with part of the technology team today, kind of talking through this as a process with the technology team, and one of the team members said, in his time with one of his previous employers, it was expected to do this sort of assessment every 5 years. And when he said that, I said, I don't disagree with that as a concept. Do I think every 5 years is maybe required? I think we could look at that, but maybe back it off a little bit and be cognizant of, if we stick with the plan and we keep up on things, I don't know that we'd have to do something like this every 5 years, at least not to this scope. Maybe we look at portions of things at that frequency, not all of it. So I would say that every 5 to 7 years is probably pretty good practice, especially when you start to talk about cybersecurity and the changes there. That those sorts of assessments may have to happen even more frequently.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me see. Oh, we have a motion and a second, correct? Call the roll.
Walker?
Yes.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Rauch?
Aye.
Kreutzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we have 926, approval of a purchasing cooperative. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Keeley.
Great, so this is from Ms. Froley in the Food Service Department. We have been a member of the Northern Illinois Independent Purchasing Cooperative, Food Service Cooperative since 2012. Cooperative has existed since '97. I believe OPRF started it. They're the host district of the cooperative, and it serves over 200,000 students annually. It's a purchasing cooperative that provides, value to the districts and assurance of best market price. They're going through a restructure. The food service director at Oak Park and River Forest High School is going to be retiring, and the school board there has determined that they would prefer that the food service directors run the governing board. So the cooperative worked with their legal counsel to structure this just the same as you would some of the cooperatives that we're purchasing our equipment off of. And so it does align with, and it's all Illinois districts, so it certainly aligns with Illinois school code. This change requires ratification from each of the 70 member boards, and therefore I do recommend the board approve the restated articles of joint agreement and bylaws for the 2024-25 school year as presented.
Discussion, board members?
I understand the cost saving, that's pretty obvious, but how has the history been for the delivery service and customer response to any problems?
None that I'm aware of. Interestingly enough, I started my career at OPRF, so I'm familiar with this cooperative, and I started in procurement, so I worked a lot with them, and the leverage of having 70 districts sure does make a difference. If there's going to be service problems, it's going to be with other clients.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Call the roll.
Heineman.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Lauk. Aye. Walker.
Yes.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Approval of paint bid. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Keeley.
Great. So our procurement team worked with Anetta and operations and the central maintenance team to re-up our paint contract. It was up. They put a bid out on the street to 8 vendors. 2 responded, and it is for approximately 1,869 gallons of paint per year. It's a guaranteed price for 3 years, and it is an increase over our current spend. However, it is a new vendor. It's Mount Prospect Paint, a local provider. They were the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Therefore, I do recommend the board approve that contract with Mount Prospect Paint at an amount of $88,588 per year for a 3-year total of $265,764.
Board members.
Where are we storing the paint, or are they holding it for us?
Mr. Yuli's new office.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyone?
I would just say, having a birthday tomorrow that you guys embarrass me about, I can remember painting a whole room for $35, not a gallon of paint, so it's good that we're locking it in, I would say.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Heineman.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Rauk.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Switch to operations, 931. Approval of Wheeling Park District Agreement. Mr. Yulee.
Thank you. Before I jump into the details of the Wheeling...
Sorry. Motion and a second, please.
Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead. That was my fault. Sorry.
I'd like to provide the board with some context and history related to intergovernmental agreements. So roughly 10 to 12 years ago, the district partnered with 4 park districts for the original turf installation: Buffalo Grove, Wheeling, Arlington Heights at Hersey, and Mount Prospect at Prospect. That was essentially a 50-50 cost split, and there was a provision in there, essentially the sunset or termination clauses when the district replaces the turf. So we are at the point now where our turf has run the course, and we will see this. Wheeling happens to be the first one. They're the oldest turf field. And in our soon-to-be capital improvement plan, we will see the replacements of the following turf fields in the next 3 to 5 years. Additionally, Rolling Meadows Park District is not a turf partner, and we have essentially this boilerplate agreement that we also are proposing with Wheeling Park District, where it's now a shared facility agreement and there's no costs exchanged. And every year the addendums are revisited and modified. There's a meeting with our building administrative team, our athletic directors, and the Park District folks to revisit those addendums and revisit the usage on both sites. So we also have another agreement that I'll be bringing for discussion with the Buffalo Grove Park District and the natatorium pool agreement, which expires in the next few months. That is more significant than what I'm about to speak to now. So just some talking points for this Wheeling Park District IGA. We have very strong relationships with our park districts. This is essentially the off-boarding agreement now, because we have sunsetted the original turf cost-sharing agreement, and now we're flipping to a shared facility usage agreement. The park district was a tremendous help this summer when we were doing all the facility work at Wheeling High School. We use a variety of their facilities, including we're having a theater production at one of their facilities this summer. Anywhere soccer, baseball, cross country, And then we host conference meets as well as IHSA events as well. So Park District has been a phenomenal partner, and this proposed agreement is a 3-year agreement. And those addendums expire 12/31 of every calendar year, which then our building teams and the Park District teams will meet roughly at the end of the calendar year to revisit those addendums. This also provides the district, not just Wheeling High School, with access and usage, so this will be critical as we think forward with our facility improvements. Buffalo Grove Baseball will be without a home next season, and we are going to leverage this agreement to help provide field space when they don't have it.
Board members.
I just want to thank Mr. Yulee for addressing all my questions that I had to him in the email. I appreciate everything you brought forward tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board members?
So the agreement is District 214 and Wheeling Park District, not Wheeling High School and Wheeling Park District?
Correct.
Okay. Because in the addendum, I kind of got the impression that Wheeling Park District was at Wheeling High School a lot more than we're there. But if it's the whole district that can use it, that's
a valid point. I mean, Park District programming, by design, they're planning far out, right, for profit, and they have to put out their catalogs, et cetera. Where our usage tends to be on the spot, for example, spring weather, and we get a ton of rainouts and our fields are unplayable, then that's when we would tap into the Park District to see what's available.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Yulee, I just want to say thank you for working on this relationship with the Wheeling Park District. It does sound like it's a good opportunity for the district, as you mentioned, with capital projects coming down, and especially with Buffalo Grove Baseball. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Call the roll.
Welk.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
Kreitzer.
Aye.
Carries 5-0.
Thank you. Thanks for all the discussion, board members. We are now moving to closed session, and I would need a motion to go into closed session for the
So
purpose
moved.
of, thank you, and a second?
Second.
For the purpose of the employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a legal setting or legal counsel for the public body. 5 ILCS 122C1, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court of administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds an action probable or imminent. 5 ILCS 122C11, and collective bargaining matters between a public body and its employees or their representatives. 5 ILCS 122C2. Call the roll, please.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Rauk.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
And Kreitzer.
So we will have action. How long, Dr. Rowe, you think?
Hour, 2 hours? I'm kidding. 20 minutes.
Okay, we'll be back. Thank you. We are back into open session, and then we have one agenda item. Ms. Rauch.
Yes. I move to approve the personnel transaction reports for February 8th, 2024.
Second, please.
So moved.
That's a motion and a second. Okay, discussion.
Well, I would start this off with just a kind of a high-level explanation of the process. We'll begin with the associate principal at Buffalo Grove. Mr. Wardle shared with me that it's been a while since he's had this comprehensive process, and did he make it a comprehensive process? He took every candidate that he wanted to see to coffee to get connected with them as people, and then a comprehensive team at Buffalo Grove saw, I believe he brought in 8 candidates from a large, very, very strong pool of applicants. And then Ms. Kraft and I had the opportunity to sit with Jack and Jeff and get to meet Jack and talk with Jack about this position. And I know I speak for Kate when I say extremely impressive. And I being new, I had the chance to meet Jack a few times, and he's a very impressive guy. But listening to him talk about his why and who he is as an educator and why special education is important to him, not only was it inspiring, but it gave me great hope for the future of Buffalo Grove and him as a leader in our district. This is I think it's safe to say this won't be the last position that Jack holds in Buffalo Grove, and I'm really proud that he's making this move over, and we're excited to see what you do at BG on Jeff's team.
So I'm going to call the roll, and I'm going to call on Jack and Kara if you want to come up and say
I can talk about Ms. Kinfield as well.
Go ahead.
I can't see her because the podium is in the way, but also a very comprehensive process as we looked for our Associate Superintendent of Student Services, a position that's been vacated for a couple of years following the departure of someone who held it and is revered in the district. And when they didn't find a candidate that kind of met the district's need, we elected to restructure and add some support positions underneath it, which has done the district well, but it's time for that leadership to return, that strong visionary leadership to return. So as we went through this process, we also had our strong pool. And as we navigated through that, we saw 5 candidates initially as super, and narrowed it and brought 3 very strong candidates back to a team of 30 people in the district. So the grueling process of seeing 2 different rooms in a short window of time, and Ms. Kendrick made it quite easy on us to make that decision. The candidates were very good, but she's shown above all of them. And the story, if you ever get the opportunity to listen to her story about her why that started back in high school, it's a good one. And she shines that through as bright of a person as she is. And as I told the board in closed session, I buy into Kara as a leader because she just exudes leadership. From her work ethic to the fact that she said student probably 10 or 12 times in the interview. And that is, I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag for all future interviews. That's how you hook my attention, is that student is what drives you, and it's apparent, not only in her reputation and her work at Prospect, but the relationships she's developed at Forest View. Kate sent me a message after the news came out on Tuesday that the second floor erupted in applause when the message went to staff. I think that is all that really needs to be said. We're super excited to have you, Kara, on our team, and look forward to great work together in the future.
So, call the roll.
Rauch.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
And Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion
Jack,
carries
you want to
5-0.
come up and say a few words? Jack O'Neill, the Associate Principal for Student Services at Buffalo Grove High School.
Board President Kreitzer, thank you.
Yep, move it up.
Superintendent Rowe, thank you. Board of Education, it's been my honor to work here in this facility with our specialized schools, for 6 years, and I hope we invite Ms. Kendrick up next to speak as well. What's funny to me is the timing is I took her vacated job 6 years ago, so I'm not at all surprised to see her in a new position to lead our district. I've been humbled by experiences here. As I look at Mrs. Kraft, who also worked here, I've had the chance to work with some of our board members over the years, and I'm so excited for the opportunity to make an impact at a larger scale at Buffalo Grove High School with Principal Wardle and his leadership team there. He's made clear his vision on making sure that each student belongs, and we who work in the buildings know that is from the very simple in the classroom and relationships with teachers, but also the co-curriculars. That'll be our focus. Far beyond just a diploma, the students have clarity on their career, their purpose, their vision beyond high school. So I'm humbled and grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff. Kara Kendrick, Associate Superintendent for Student Services. Come on down.
Oh my goodness, I am so honored and humbled. I want to thank my fan club for coming out tonight. I can always count on them, and they are truly my biggest supporters. I feel so fortunate to have had some incredible opportunities in District 214 at the Academy and Life, and now at Prospect, and to be able to take everything that I have learned and the incredible relationships that I have had the opportunity to make across the district in my different roles. I feel really, really lucky, and I feel really well prepared to be able to take on this work and make sure that we are doing right by every student in this district, which is my passion, and certainly making sure that we are taking care of our most vulnerable kids every single day, and making sure that everyone is here, and that we're really focused on attendance and behavior so that we can keep kids well prepared for the future and make sure that all of them have what they need. One of the things I said during my interview was just that they have a plan, that we have a plan for every student leaving District 214. We certainly have the wealth of resources, and we know that all of our kids are capable of doing something successful when they leave us, and so that would be my ultimate dream, that our kids leave here with a plan for their future. So I thank you, I am humbled, I am honored, and I am ready to do the work. Thank you for believing in me.
With that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Could I add one comment before
Oh,
we
sure, go
adjourn?
ahead, go ahead.
So during student recognition, I'm going to take your piece here, Alva. We always celebrate the parents and the support group of people that come here. I will tell you, as a proud parent, I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I move we adjourn.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Ralph.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
And Kreutzer.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you.